Hey YouTube, what's up? This is Shaylin with 8-Bit Co-op, and I am doing a short video about my first impressions of this game that I've seen. It's called Exanima, or, you know, other people have said it differently, so I will tell you that I've gone ahead and done some of my character customizations earlier, because when I first went in to kind of play around, they were quite in-depth. So I'm going to go ahead and get in to it and see what Exanima is all about. One of the things that, and you can see I like a fairly portly white person, hair color. I mean, they dress your paper doll pretty scantily at first, but you have certain things that you can, do, and then you dress them. Okay, now when you look at this, you notice I have to click and drag. And the thing is that this game has a lot of basis in physics. That's what drew me to the game initially, is because of the high reliability on actual physics. And you'll see more as I get into it, but it is a very interesting game. When you hover over and click on something, it tells you the coverage. For armor, coverage tells you how much it does cover your body. Okay. And then there's slash, pierce. There's more. We'll get to them as we see them, but slashing is how much damage slashing damage does. So our shirt has a 4 coverage, and it adds 1/2 to slash. Our pants currently have 4 coverage, 1/2 to slash, and 1/2 to pierce. Those are like your damage buffs. And our shoes have 3 coverage, 1/2 to slash, and 1/2 to pierce. So we currently have 1.5 extra to slash and 1 to pierce already. So I'm going to go ahead and create our weapons. Or create our characters. I looked at the top of that column and saw weapons, and then I was like, and then, again, tongue, eye tooth. You saw that my tongue got in the way of the eye tooth. So this is your character, and she's waking up, or he is waking up in this cell. Now, movement in this game can be it can be WASD. However, W and D turns. A goes forward and D goes backwards. So that is a little bit different than other games. The way that I move, though, is I actually click on the right mouse button, and the further away the arrow is from your character, the further away you run. Okay? Now, in moving the camera is the third mouse button. That's how I have it set up right now. Okay? Here is your inventory box. You start with a scroll. Oh, I just clicked on it wrong. This appears to be the second page of a letter, and assist him in whatever way you can. If all else fails, then recover any information he has gathered and bring it to me. I see great potential in you. Prove yourself here, and you will earn a place at my side. Badly scribbled at the bottom of the back page are the following words: there is another way out. Okay. This is your inventory box. Now, you see that there's this torch on the floor. You pick it up, and you put it in your hand. You now have a torch. Coming over to here, you see that there's boxes, and there's something inside the box. Well, you just click and drag, and look. You hover over it and click. The weight is how weighty it feels in your hand. So this goes on basic, true physics for weapons. It has a weight, an impact, and a balance. Okay? The impact is how solidly it hits, and the balance is how it kind of feels when you're swinging it. And all of these impact how you work your combat, which we'll show you in a minute. So we have 2.5 impact and 3 balance at this point. And if you right click on it, but if you look, you can click and pull other things. You can run into boxes, you can trip, you can fall, which I have done numerous times. So if you see something on a shelf like this, you go ahead and you pull them off the shelf, because there may be something underneath that, and hopefully I will live long enough to show you that, guys, that. I have a fairly large screen, so I leave my inventory up. However, not a lot of people that I've seen do that. You see, and some of this is hard to see, so you got to really pay attention. At the bottom of my foot right here, there's another stake, just in case ours gets knocked out or ours falls or whatever. That one is there. So, you see her almost drop over this one. Some things are steady and you can't move them, like big boxes, because you can't reach them. Now, let's look at this thing right here. You can pick it up, and you can turn it with the WASD to orient it. And then you can even drop it on your own head, which, by the way, I do not suggest. Down here is your health bar. Since this is a fairly new game, let me see if we can move. We can't move these huge rocks, but we can trip on them. I still don't know what this blue one is yet. That's something I'm hoping to be able to find. You see? A wood plank with spikes. Let's put that in our hand. That gives us a little bit more reach. However, this also gives us one more piercing balance. It doesn't, or piercing damage. It doesn't give us as much balance compared to this one, but it does give us that pierce. When it comes to unarmed characters, or I'm sorry, not unarmed, unarmored characters, there are certain damages that do really well against the unarmored character, or unarmored people. And those are things like, you know, your slashing, your piercing, things that if you got hit with and you didn't have armor on, you're going to feel it. Some of the things are too big or too wieldy to go into your inventory. I like to stack my inventory a certain way, just because I'm OCD. That's just me. Over here, you see these barrels over here? Watch this. Why is that important? Because if you are in combat, let me see if it gets too dark. Well, you know what? Let's move this. Let's move us back into the middle room where we know we can drop the torch and have some light. Okay. You drop the torch. Watch this. You have a, even though it's a lid, it's a makeshift shield, which I really enjoy. Now, let's just say, let's put this back in our inventory for now. Let's just say we had decided, hey, we're going in combat with this person. Let's put this in the middle of our inventory. You see how dark it gets? So you want to pay attention to your physics. It's all about physics, which I truly love. I've never seen anything like this in a game, so I've been quite excited about it. I'm going to go ahead and venture out of this, what I like to call safe room, because there's nobody in here. And see, you got to click, you got to left click, hold, and drag to interact to open doors. Even these big planks you can move. So, I look around everything. I look around everything just because of that experience. So I move everything. Everything I can, anyway. There's certain things, and I try to put everything in my inventory. There are certain things you can't move, and certain things you can. And sometimes I think it'll surprise you what you can and cannot move. So let's see what's over here. Okay, now, you see this down here? I want to know what's under there. So you push... okay, let me see what our crouch button is. I thought we had set it to C. Okay, crouch is C. So we're going to go ahead and cancel that and go back in here. Let's see if I can't get her to crouch for us today. Some of the this is, by the way, this is early access. So some of the controls are still a bit wonky. You see this right here hiding in the corner? I mean, it's as simple as that. Um, let's see. Oh, look at that for a nice reach weapon. Now, just like in... Oh, watch this. Let's see if this can happen. This is a favorite of our children. Boop! That, putting a bucket on your head, contrary to what people says, it does help for armor. However, it is very unwieldy, and it makes it you are more clumsy. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off and throw it on the ground, because Lord knows, with this I am clumsy enough. Let's see if there's anything around here we can find. Okay. So in the interest of time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try... Okay, and notice, I said try. I've looked in this door during one of my... where I look at the controls, and I know that there is a guy in there. Okay, so I am going to try to show you some combat right now. One of the things about the combat is if you double tap. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hit tab and engage him in combat. Wherever your cursor is, that's where you're going to face. So, combat is... Oh, did you see he got me good? And this is not a game where you just point and click, okay? Oh, I hope my first combat isn't dying. It is! The combat is very wonky. It's very difficult to go through. The one thing I don't like about this game is that, you know, every time you gotta click in and do a new game. I'm gonna go ahead and try again, just to kind of show you. I'm hoping at some point, very soon, I can show you. I'm just gonna pick up the bare necessities, which is the torch for now. My first huge weapon, and my quote-unquote shield. I am going to get the metal stake because different weapons are good against different... Oh, I ran right past it. Against different mobs. So... Okay, let me go ahead and... Oh. Some other controls you may want to know is that if you double tap space, that orients your camera. So I can be all wonky looking at my camera in combat, and double tap orients my camera differently so that you can get all the different angles that you need. Rolling in gets closer to the combat, rolling out gets further from the combat, or from your character, because you can do that when you are not in combat. What I'm going to try this time is I'm going to go ahead and try to be a little bit closer and angle my camera differently. I'm going to go ahead and trigger our combat right away. As you can see, there's the baddie. And that may help me. I get a little... crazy with my mouse, which means this game's going to be definitely good for my mouse work. Oh, did you see me crack him on the dome? I just lit up his little brain housing. Ugh. You could do overhand swings. You gotta be careful though, because once you're yellow, and it kinda sucks because he's fighting you with an axe, and you're fighting him with a... Okay. I almost died for it, but I got to show you the first combat, which makes me happy. Because this game to me is so exciting. I just... It's so different, and it's so hard. It is really hard. Oh my gosh. But you see, if you come over here, what is this right here? He dropped his hatchet, so now we have a hatchet. Over time, your health does go up until the red. Look what else he got. I will gank him for his britches. And look, he's laying there with some underoos on. He's naked. So now, these have 4.5 coverage and 1.5 slash, which won't be helpful if we have this. Or which won't be helpful if we have this, but will be helpful if we have something with an impact is only 2, but look at the balance, and he has 2 slash added on there. So what we're going to try is changing our britches out. We're going to keep this for when we have any slash. That only has 1.5 slash. And we're going to go in here and look around this room, see if there's anything that we can see. Okay, so, first thing is let's get this chair out of the way. Let's put it on the table. This looks like an open container. Okay, so in here, wow, look at those boots. Leather boots. Look at the slash, the crush, and the pierce. Impact, I mean, it's boots, but it still adds to your impact, and your coverage is still 4. Now, when you compare that to these, yeah... Okay, significantly different. So I'm going to go ahead and put those on. And my little paper doll has them. I keep these because I don't know if there's going to be a durability factor at some point. Let's go ahead and try to stack some of these on the table, or just throw them around so we can look around, see if there's anything else. Because like I said, you really need to look around everywhere because you never know. Okay, so you can't get back there. You never know when you're going to find things. One of the things about the mobs is that the mobs in this game you can avoid. There is a tutorial that you read. It's a fairly long tutorial. That's why I didn't go ahead and read it, because it is pretty long. But one of the things it talks about is that creatures in this game, sometimes avoiding them, if you can, is the best option. Oh, why is my back to her? Oh man, I got crazy with my mouse and I turned around. But anyway, that's my first impressions of the game Exanima. I personally think that, once you get the controls down, which are fairly wonky, and you get the physics down, it's going to be a really exciting game. It's a huge diversion from games of this day. So I'm excited to play it. I can't wait to find areas like this where I can, touch everything and get and hold everything and all of that. But let me know what you think if you've played it. I welcome all comments. I welcome all tips, such as don't put your back to the mob when they're swinging a weapon at you. And thank you very much for watching my first impressions video.